Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and I'm starting 2021 in a mask because we're still there. And I don't think anybody predicted in 2020 that we were going to be wearing masks almost full time here in 2021. So I say this a little bit as a joke at the beginning, but it's not a joke, it's serious, what we've been going through. And I think it's just a good illustration of how hard it is to predict what is going to happen, like that the Seahawks would lose in the first round of the Rams last week, a little disappointed. So we've got a little bit of solidarity in the mask, but also a little bit of a serious illustration. Now, I'm not actually gonna wear this mask for the whole video, but I thought it's a good way to start off and just kind of set the tone that it's so hard to know what's going to happen, but we can do our best to, given the past, but also what we know in front of us, to at least predict what's going to happen in the near future and do our best to guess and bet on what's going to happen down the line. So if you're finding anybody that's telling you the market's going to crash and we're going to see housing prices drop 20%, or you're hearing somebody say, yeah, we're going to be up for sure 15, 20%, there's absolutely no way to know that. But I'll give you my thoughts as a real estate professional. Been doing these videos for a while now, and I continue to stay up to date on what's going on, but I'm also an active real estate agent, so I just see and experience and hear things in real time. So without further ado, I'm gonna share some of my thoughts about how we wrapped up the year and what I think we've got coming up heading into 2021. I'll start off with a few stats to recap 2020, and if you watch my Seattle real estate market updates, if you don't, you should, and you should subscribe to this channel. But if you haven't heard this information, you'll hear it here first, that from December to December, so pretty much last year, we saw home prices in Seattle up 10.7%, so almost 11%. As well, we saw a dramatic reduction in the amount of homes for sale. Now, you might laugh when I say we went from 1.1 months to 0.4, 0.5 months, but that's half the amount of homes for sale. And in the suburbs, that's what we saw. Now, Seattle itself ended the year in about the same position supply-wise at 0.9 months. But what we saw as we headed into 2020 is that we started to see the market pick up. And it looked like we were gonna see a super hot spring market before COVID hit, but we ended up seeing that in the fall, and we're now sitting in a very similar position in Seattle, but even tighter position in some of the suburbs and on the east side. So it's going to be really interesting as we head into 2021 to see what's going to happen. And I'll talk a little bit more about a few of my thoughts in just a minute. And what I meant by in just a minute is right now. Now, my crystal ball predictions, here they are. And I think I already set the stage earlier that I don't know what the future holds, but I do my best to make educated guesses and advise people on what we're coming into. In these next few months, I'm pretty certain that we're gonna continue to, first of all, see low interest rates. And right now, the low interest rates have been driving the purchase market, also the refinance market if you're on the lending side. But I think we're gonna continue to see more and more purchases and competition because of these low rates. And the impact is increased prices. So we don't have very much available, and we're gonna continue to see, number two, prices climbing as people compete for the low amount of inventory. And I'll make that my third point. I think this year as a whole, we're gonna see a low amount of inventory in 2021. The main inventory, I think, is going to be people that maybe are selling a house and buying another one. But I think a lot of people are gonna sit tight this year because they refinanced and doubled down on the house that they're in. So last year, people were faced with the decision to either stay put and refinance their mortgage and get a lower rate because they planned to stay there for a while, or they looked at their next purchase. So there's still some people that are stragglers in that situation where they'll be making their next purchase and selling their current house. I think that will be one of the themes this year as well. But I think we're gonna see a depressed inventory because other people are gonna continue to stay put. Prediction number 4, I think we're gonna continue to see more and more millennial homebuyers, first-time homebuyers specifically, as we have the low interest rates continuing to jump into the market. So this year we saw a lot of millennial first-time home buyers and people that were also buying their second house. But this year I think we're going to continue to see that as a trend in the market. Prediction number 5, and I'll make this my last prediction for now. I think we're going to continue to see a trend of people moving out of the city and into the suburbs. Now, when you think of the Seattle area, Seattle itself as a city isn't super huge, and neither is Bellevue, to be quite honest, but the surrounding metro area is fairly large, and if you live in the suburbs surrounding the city, you're still in a very good location and close to the jobs if people start working from the office a little bit more. But you typically do get a newer house with more of the creature comforts that people expect. You might get a home office, a bigger yard to play in. So there is a large appeal for people moving to maybe South King County if they're in Seattle, or east to Bellevue or Kirkland, or maybe even farther out to Redmond or places like that. But then I think we're also going to continue to see a lot of pressure on the north side in Snohomish County, where traditionally houses were a little bit more affordable, but home prices, as we saw wrapping up the year, were skyrocketing in Snohomish County, and there's really not very much available. Very, very, very few homes available. So I think we're going to continue to see more and more competition in Snohomish County. Not that we're going to see less competition in the city necessarily, but I think it's going to continue to heat up on the north end as people start to think about, maybe I want a newer house versus an older house. And I just witnessed this with a client. We were looking at some older houses in Seattle in the neighborhoods that they really preferred, but if they looked 20 minutes farther north, they could get a pretty much brand new house with a bigger yard, a lot nicer, with all of the things that they want versus compromising to be closer into the city. And they don't have to drive into work right now. So I think the benefit and the appeal of being in Seattle or being right in near Bellevue is a little less exciting in the current climate. And I just think we're going to continue to see more of a trend. Maybe this is prediction number 6, bonus, of people working from home. And I think that changes what people's needs are. So I hope these thoughts are helpful and give you a little context for what I think is coming up in 2021. And again, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. But I think that we will continue to see competition, and we're going to continue to see increased prices here in 2021. It's possible towards the end of the year that we'll see an increase in interest rates. They are at record lows. And so for me, it's hard to imagine that they're going to stay this way forever. But for now, they're super low. And if you're a buyer planning to finance a purchase, there's no better time to purchase. Now, if you're a cash buyer, maybe you sit on the sidelines a little bit. But I don't think we're going to see any massive implosion in the Seattle real estate market, at least not in the near future. If you find yourself watching this video and you're thinking, maybe this is my year to buy a house, or maybe I want to get something different, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to bring a little value to your situation and be a resource for you.